Happy Friday, good people. Hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. If you celebrate, if not, hope you just had a fun Thursday. Hope you're out there getting those great deals. Tears of the Kingdom for $30 and a Switch OLED for $75 off. But we've got more to discuss today, including the next big Nintendo presentation, Direct. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. There is cat hair flying everywhere because Bowser is right here. He's taking up a new home literally beneath the camera. If I pan the camera down, he's right there looking. He had a really fun Thanksgiving himself. Everybody came to play with him. Everybody was excited. He did not have any human food. Successful day. But what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all doing amazing out there. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this big rumor that we have found, and that is discussing something inevitable, but that the details are always being discussed, right? The details are always being here and there and back and forth, and there's so much coming at us about these details, but it's gone quiet. If we're honest, it's gone quiet. There hasn't been much. After Nintendo Switch 2 was not revealed in October, it's been pretty much like, shh, nobody wants to say anything. But this person is saying something and saying something big. Speaking of big, how about a big memory card for your Switch at a big discount? Lexar Play Card is currently on its Black Friday deep discount, 49% off for this beautiful 1TB card. They also have smaller sizes at great prices as well if you don't need as much storage, but this one is going to keep you safe and secure and speedy save times and access times forevermore. Make sure to click the link in the description down below. Every time you do, it helps support the channel, which of course I really appreciate. I also appreciate stuff that tells me, man oh man, the wait is almost over. Now we're going back to the saddle of Samus Hunter's ranch. You might say Samus Hunter, blah, I don't like that person, but remember, they got Emio right when everybody else on the internet thought Nintendo was teasing some new horror IP. They got Xenoblade Chronicles X right when everybody was sure that Nintendo was just prepping to reveal their next big system. Samus Hunter has been on a streak lately. They've been on a heater, and they recently discussed things about Metroid Prime 4. But now we have details about the Switch 2 reveal presentation and Nintendo's next big plans, and it's very interesting. So let's dive into the first tweet here. Samus Hunter said, I read rumors for a Switch 2 presentation in January for a release in March. No, they are not going to release it this fiscal year, and it won't get a marketing push of less than 2 months. So boom, there's our first big point. This is what I'm saying about everybody kind of coming in with their own details, their own version. There's been a rumor flying around for a couple of days now that Nintendo would reveal this thing in January and release in March. And honestly, I think that's possible. People are saying, no, they wouldn't do 2 months. I personally think that that has some chance of happening, but Samus Hunter here is saying no. Nintendo is going to take more time, they're going to give it a bigger marketing push, and they're not going to release it this fiscal year, probably because they've emphasized so heavily that they will reveal it this fiscal year. If they were going to release it this fiscal year, wouldn't they have used that as a major point to their investors and a major point to their stock to help things grow and help things look super good for the future? I can understand that. The other point on this front is that if Nintendo was indeed going to reveal in January and release in March, they would be deep into production, and we have no leaks from the production side of things yet. So I think Samus Hunter, even though I do think Nintendo could be crazy and do a 2 to 3 month cycle, I think Samus Hunter is probably right here. Now we're going to go to Samus Hunter's next tweet, which is the one that probably gets even more interesting for all of you, and for myself, I suppose, because they say Prime 4 will have a big emphasis on the next big Nintendo presentation. And for that presentation, there isn't much room to announce the remaining 2 titles of the trilogy. This is bonkers, because if you recall, the recent rumor regarding Prime that we discussed with Samus Hunter was that Prime 2 and 3 were coming out Q1 2025. And we thought that they would be a great middle gap filler between Donkey Kong and Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Samus Hunter suggested as much. Here, Samus Hunter is now saying that Prime 4 will have a big emphasis on the next big Nintendo presentation, but that presentation doesn't have a lot of time to announce Prime 2 or 3. Now, I don't think they're necessarily saying that Prime 2 or 3 are not going to be announced there. I think they're more saying that they're going to be afterthoughts there, if they're mentioned at all. Because this presentation is not being referred to as like, oh, Nintendo's February Direct, which we know they have every year. They have a big February presentation to kind of lay out the calendar for the first half of the year and give them sort of some space and time before the E3 Summer June Direct and Summer Games Fest season. Here, Samus Hunter is saying Prime 4 will have a big emphasis on the next big Nintendo presentation without specifically calling it a February Direct. Could this mean that they are actually having a January Direct or some other type of big presentation before their typical February show? The other point to emphasize here is we know that Nintendo is going to reveal the Switch 2 in fiscal year 2025. That means they have January, February, March to reveal it. They could do it in February, they could do it in March, but January seems like a fine time, especially given the big Switch presentation for the first system that took place in January. Now, regardless of what you believe about that, Samus Hunter is saying that Prime 4 will have a big emphasis, and that seems like it could honestly fit at either a Switch 1 or a Switch 2 centric presentation. We know Prime 4 is going to get its main push on Switch 1 as promised 7 years ago, but it also will probably have an improved version or at least improved graphical frame rate on the Switch 2. What really gets me here, though, is the kind of subtle hint that for the presentation, there isn't much room to announce the remaining 2 titles of the trilogy. And look, Samus Hunter has been kind of coy and sneaky before. They posted this picture of DK and said, not a game, and then there was a DK presentation for the theme park. It was a Super Nintendo World Direct. They like to be a little bit sneaky with their verbiage, and so I think saying for that presentation there isn't much room could be a nice hint that this is the Switch 2 reveal presentation. And perhaps that's why they're not calling it a Nintendo Direct, but rather a Nintendo presentation. It still could be categorized as a Nintendo Direct, but everybody out there thinks of Nintendo Direct as just announcing games. And Nintendo has been beating the drum. They've been hitting the hammer over and over that like this Direct will not have Switch 2 information. Just be warned. Just be ready. There's no Switch 2 information. So I think if Samus Hunter says Nintendo Direct, people might assume that there is no Switch 2 info there just based on how we've been trained by the parent company themselves. But then they include this note that for that presentation, there isn't much room to announce the remaining 2 titles, and we know Prime 2 and Prime 3 would not be big gets for the Switch 2, they would not have a big emphasis, and they would fall between the cracks of a 3D Mario announcement, a Metroid Prime 4 deep dive, anything of the sort. I think Samus Hunter here is teasing the next big Nintendo presentation is going to have Prime 4 as well as Switch 2. And because we know that they're emphasizing Prime 2 and 3 releasing in the Q1 time slot, which has to be January, February, or March, and because Xenoblade Chronicles X is March and DKC R HD is January, that means February. Now, this would imply that the Nintendo Direct reveal is either January or February, because obviously they have to reveal this thing before these games release. I still think January feels like the time. But you could go to Samus Hunter's tweet that we originally started with, where they say, I read rumors for a Switch 2 presentation in January for a release in March. No, they are not going to release it this fiscal year, and it won't get a marketing push of less than 2 months. Interestingly, they deny the March release, but they make no point to deny the January presentation. Again, they call it a presentation, and then reference presentation again when discussing Metroid Prime 4. I think Samus Hunter, if you believe them to be a legitimate leaker after Emio, after Donkey Kong Theme Park, and after Xenoblade Chronicles X, I believe that they are hinting at a January Switch 2 presentation, not a March reveal. They're contradicting that rumor, but a January Switch presentation with a big Metroid Prime 4 emphasis and not much space for much else because the Switch 2 is going to be revealed. And if that's the case, that is the best deal we got on Black Friday. I'm telling you, a January reveal does not mean a November launch. This system is coming out in the first half of 2025, no matter what. Nintendo cannot wait, they will not wait, and this thing is ready to go. We're not waiting until the next holiday season for a big push from Nintendo. They are going to go gas pedal to the floor starting in 2025, and this January presentation with Metroid Prime 4 and Switch 2 would be the perfect way to do it after a sort of slow, silent fall season. No direct, right? They jumbled 2 little third parties in an indie world together. They didn't have a December game. They didn't make a peep in October. They're ready for a huge January debut, and that's what Samus Hunter is hinting at here. So if you believe Samus Hunter could be right, then you've got good hope for less than 2 months away. So let me know your take in the comments down below. Let me know if you grabbed anything cool for your Switch on Black Friday. And until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Get excited. And until next time, SwitchForce out.